Good afternoon, this afternoon, every one of you, and happy new month. I pray that God will visit every one of us greatly this month in the mighty name of Jesus. And your academic pursuits will have another growth in the mighty name of Jesus. Okay, let's start from where we stopped last week. Last week, I tried as much as possible to introduce you to British influence in Nigeria. And let me just make a quick recap on that. So for some of you who are not privileged to be in that class, I discussed about how the British government, the two kings in Lagos State, which I make mention of Okosoko, as well as what King Dosimu, nicknamed Decimo, that Dosimu, nicknamed Decimo. So, and in the course of that, I also made mention on how the main aim of the Britain is to gain access to the trading market in West Africa, most importantly in Nigeria. Do you get it? And I also stress the fact that we have Lagos. We have Lagos on its own. Then we have what the southern protectorate, and we have the northern protectorate, right? So Lagos was on its own. So this was the state of Nigeria when the British came into Nigeria. And I tried as much as possible to have, before I got to this northern protectorate, southern protectorate, I explained what we mean by colony and protectorate. So if you need further explanations to that, you can kindly go and watch the previous videos that will do justice to this, so that I won't take more of our time, because we have a lot to discuss. We can't exhaust all that is inherent in general knowledge. All right. So now King Dosumu was installed by British government, thinking that the King Dosimu is going to answer to their request, and they are going to influence his decision. But they find it difficult with King Dosimu. So that is why on January, was it January? That is why in 1851, right? In 1851, the previous king, King Kosoko, was deposed from his throne, and he exiled to Ekpe. Now we now have King Dosimu reign, but King Dosimu was not the British was not able to inflict King Dosimu. So the military naval officer arrived in Lagos in the year 1861, which is January 10, 1861. So, and the captain who led the naval military troop from Britain down to Lagos is called Commandant Bedingfield. Let me write it properly here. I just want to show this Commandant Bedingfield. Commander Bedingfield was one that led troop to Lagos State. He led troop of army, soldiers, navals, officers to Lagos State to depose King Dosimu, because they are not finding it easy with King Dosimu, and he was forced to sign treaty in this year, in January 10, 1861. So, this treaty that he signed annexed, the treaty that King Dosimu signed annexed the Lagos to what? To officially what? British rule, because he was facing between life and death. His life was threatened. So as a result, King Dosunmu had to sign this treaty that is seceding Lagos to under British what? Rule. He seceded what? Lagos under British what? Rule in January 10, 1861. Please get that. So by March 5th, 1862, Lagos officially declared what? British colony. Okay? Lagos officially declared what? British what? Colony. Please, you need to understand what happened in 1851, right? Then 1861. Okay, please. In 1851, the Britain assist Dosunmu to depose what? Kosoko from his throne. Please get that. Now, in 1861, Lagos was bombarded, where Britain sent their naval officers, their soldier troops to Lagos State to want to depose what? King Dosunmu, and on the basis of that, he was forced to sign the treaty in 1861. All right. Now, Lagos now became crown colony. Lagos became crown colony of Britain in March 5th, 1862. Please note that you should be able to narrate the events that occur here, the event that occur here. But when you talk about annexation, you should know the difference between annexation and crown colony. Please get that. Annexation happened in 1861. Annexation happened in 1861. The bombardment happened in 1851. Why the colony, that is officially, the British now have full access to what? To rule Lagos State directly without passing through any king or any traditional ruler in 1862, on March 5th, 1862. That is just the focus points that you need to understand. Please and please. Now, what happened after this? So Britain had great access. They had great channels to what? To do any business transaction, to do any to have access to some of our natural resources that can be taken to their country in order to develop their country. Now, another thing I also need to understand here again is that I talked about, in our previous class, I talked about Lagos standing on its own. Lagos standing on its own. We had the Southern Protectorate. Let me represent the S with Southern. The P what with the Protectorate. Then we have the Northern Protectorate, right? Now, power before now, Lagos was never part of the Southern Protectorate. Please get that. Lagos was never part of what? Of the Southern Protectorate. So Lagos merged with the Southern Protectorate in the year 1906. Please get that. Just like we can name it amalgamation. Let me just say sub-amalgamation. Not like the one that happened in 1914. But Lagos officially joined the Southern Protectorate now, right? In the year 1906. Please get the differences. Lagos became crown colony in the year 1862. Are you getting it now? Now, Lagos was bombarded in 1851, right? Annexation was 1861. Why the Lagos joined the Southern Protectorate in 1906? Please know that Lagos joined the Southern Protectorate in 1906. Please get that. Now, In 1914, I talked about that previously. In 1914, right? In 1914, the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate were amalgamated. That's what they were joined, they were merged together, right? So let me briefly just put it here, right? Lagos was amalgamated to Southern Protectorate in the year 1906. Please get that. While the official amalgamation of the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate was done in 1914. Okay, right? Okay, so these are the notable dates that you need to know, and you might possibly meet any of it in your question. But most importantly, you should try to differentiate or distinguish between the annexation, between bombardment and crown colony. What do you understand by crown colony? You know, the Queen made use of crown, right? That means that the Britain directly, they are having direct rule to pilot their administrative affair in Britain, and the same things in Nigeria as are then. Now, let's move a step further from here. Let me still go back to 1914. Now, I won't talk about Nigeria, but I'll still link it out to Nigeria history. Let's look what happened in 1914. Now, let's talk briefly about World War. World War. I think you need to let them unmute themselves. Let me ask whether they even know it. The First World War started in what year? Please, students, the First World War started in what year?
Okay, the First World War started 1914 and ended 1918 or 1919.
Stop there. You're right. Stop there. I don't want you to say the second one, because there are things that you need to know between the First World War and the Second World War. Okay? There is a foster league that was played to foster peace within the nation states that you need to know, and the dates. Are you getting it now? So that's why I say you should stop there for now before we move down to Second World War. And what happened after Second World War? We also need to discuss it, because these are some of the things that has formed your question. Yes, as she rightly said, the First World War, right, started in 1914 and down to 1918. All right. The First World War started in 1914 down to 1918. Right? Now, at the end of this war, what happened? And you normally have your questions there. If you have your past question, we'll definitely see it there. What happened at the end of this First World War? Now, we have what we call League of Nations. Right? League of Nations was what was introduced. This was 1920. That is 2 years later, or a year later in between. So League of Nations was introduced. What is the essence of this League of Nations? Is to just connect to foster peace within the nation states that the war has been fought. Do you get it now? So it's to connect, is to integrate other states. States in this sense, I mean countries, so that there will not be reoccurrence of another war again, just like what happened in Nigeria after the Civil War under Yakubu Gowon administration. I want to link it down to Nigeria. Under the Yakubu Gowon administration, right, after the Civil War that happened, that ended in 1970, under Yakubu Gowon administration, what happened? he created so many agencies and he created so many organizations. So one of it that stood out, one of the agencies that stood out that he created then is still in existence to date, which is your what? NYSC. Okay. Now, what is the essence of this NYSC? It's not meant for just only university graduates alone to serve their dear country. No. The essence of this NYC is to integrate other people from other states to another state. I will explain. Take for instance, I pray most of you and all of you will gain admission in into Lagos State University, University of Lagos, which is Unilag. Amen. Jesus' name. That is the nation's pride. The nation's what? Pride what? University. In truth and in deed. That is the what? The motto. So let's not go into detail there. Now, what happened is that if you have graduated the Unilag, right, and you want to, before this Boko Haram happened, insurgency happened, right, the essence of NYC is to integrate other students to other states in Nigeria in order to avoid the occurrence of another civil war that may probably what happen in Nigeria. So the same thing also happened in the First World War. So in order to foster peace in the First World War in the world is introduction of League of Nations. Do you understand? So that is why sometimes question will ask that what happened immediately after the First World War? What organization was introduced after the First World War is the League of Nations. So also one of the agencies that was created under Yakubu Gowon administration as the head of state as at then is introduction of NYC. Now let's make it practical. Straight from instance, if you finish your first degree in University of Lagos, do you get now? And you want to go to NYC, which is compulsory service 1 year to Nigeria, right? Now, you cannot, it is expected for you not to be posted to any part of the Western states. You are expected to be transferred as far as Northeast. Maiduguri is other Northeast, so that you go and experience their culture, their ways of life, their socio-political experiences over there. So, and you all know that your parents reside in Lagos. So if by chance they are planning war, do you get it now? If by chance they are planning another war, you will have it in mind that as a parent, you have it in mind that Chidima is already serving in Maiduguri. So if there should be outbreak of war, it will definitely affect Chidima in Maiduguri. So as such kind of a notion will not emerge, and as such is to foster peace, so that it could curb another reoccurrence of civil war. So that was something that happened in after the 1914 and 1918 World War I, right? World War I. So this was introduced so that other nations, so that other countries will come and they will have solemn war league. League of Nations means that it's just football, a friendly football, so that it will not lead to any outbreak of any other war, because there was mass destruction, there was havoc caused in the First World War. Are you getting it now? So now, this League of Nations, of course, we'll still discuss about military administration in Nigeria, starting from Aguiyi Ironsi down to Abdulsalam Abubakar. Abdulsalam Abubakar happens to be the last military head of state in Nigeria before he actually paved way to Olusegun Obasanjo, who happened to be second democratic president. The first democratic president in Nigeria was Shehu Shagari, right? Now, after that, we now have the second democratic president in Nigeria. Of course, it could have been MKO Abiola, but he's Gbadamosi, Ibrahim Gbadamosi Babangida actually annoyed the June 12th election. Do you get it now? He actually annoyed the June 12th election. And don't forget, one of the important things that Muhammadu Buhari did was to recognize MKO Abiola as one of the executive president of Nigeria. Do you get it now? But I will explain that when time comes, please. I will explain that. Let me not to digress too much. We'll still come back to the why I just brought this is for you to have the understanding what we mean by what fostering peace to other nations or other states or other region of the state. Do you get it now? So that is the essence of this League of Nations. And this League of Nations was introduced immediately after the end of the First World War. Please get it. After the end of the First World War in 1920. All right. So please, Omude, let them tell me the Second World War. Then I will explain the event that happened after the Second World War. So the Second World War was between what year and to what year?
1939 to 1945.
Yes, correct. But some will say 1939. In sometimes you see it as 1938. Are you getting it now? Some textbook, maybe your civic textbook, will see it as 1938 or 1939. But it's between this year. Then it's to 1939 or 1938 to 1945. All right. This was the year of Second World War, when the Second World War started. The Second World War started in 1939 or 1938 to 1945. So the failure of League of Nations, right, now brought back the Second World War. And one of the things that you need to understand about this Second World War was actually planned inside the prison by the almighty soldier. But it was a news vendor anyway, but it was an orator, which is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler. They planned the Second World War in the prison, right? This Second World War broke out in 1939 to 1945. This was the person that championed the Second World War. And a brother to this person, Adolf Hitler of Germany. And a brother to this Adolf Hitler is Benito Mussolini. Benito Mussolini. That's what we are talking about Nazism in some of the concepts of government. You talk about Nazism, that leader that rule with force, right? Leader that rule with force. So we talk about Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini in Italy, and Adolf Hitler in Germany. So this war actually broke out and lasted between 1939 to 1945. So at the expiration of this war, another organization was formed. Who can tell me the organization before I write it? And the organization replaced the League of Nations. What was that?
UNO.
United Nations.
Correct. That means you are following. United.
UNO, sir.
UNO. Yes. United what? What's the full name of UNO?
United Nations Organization.
Yes, United Nations Organization. That is the full meaning of UNO. So now, in your question, they may now ask, the failure of League of Nations introduce what organization is UNO? And again, in your civic textbook, it would state 1946, while some will maintain 1945. Either of the two, that when the UNO was formed, at the civic education, that is for SS3, maintained 1946, while some in some history books they maintain 1949. But one important thing that you definitely need to know is that The failure of this meant to Second World War, and as a result of the Second World War, after the end of the Second World War, then we have this organization was introduced, which is UNO. So if you are asked, what organization replaced League of Nations? Okay, let me ask you, what organization replaced League of Nations? From this analysis now.
UNO.
Yes. UNO actually what replaced League of Nations. And I think to some extent, UNO has been able to maintain their standard so that it will not lead to, there will not be bet of another Third World War. But what happened in June? Who can tell what happened in June 13th this year? (2025). What happened in June 13th this year? Huh?
Israel and Iran. Yeah, I think Israel and Iran exchanging missiles.
You are right. You are correct. Are you getting it? You are right. You are correct. And if the situation is not well managed, do you get it now? What just started now and still ongoing will lead to another Third World War. We've had the First World War, we have the Second World War, and Israel launched missile to Iran on the June 13, 2025. Please note that it might come as your question because it's general knowledge. And this is an event that is happening, that have happened, and that is happening before your me. So there's every tendency that one of your questions may capture it. So they launch missiles, and don't forget this time around is missile against missile. Missile against missile. So to attack Iranian because of the production of nuclear weapon, that Iran as a nation, they are threat to the world. They should not be able, they should be in production of nuclear weapon. So this is the fight against against Israel and Iran. But you can see the war power. USA is okay. In theory, let's put it this way, in theory, USA is still claiming the war power, but when we look at it technically, China is trying to override the war power. But be that as it may, don't forget that that USA, they are backing, Israel are backing Israel. USA are backing Israel, or Israel are also backing USA, either of the two. But what you all need to know that if this war is not well managed, and we have interest, other members that form the UNO, other members which are called the big brothers that form the UNO, also have interest to back Iranian government, then that means that this war may lead to Third World War. Are you getting it now? So, but thus so far, whether I would like it or not, the information of UNO have been able to maintain a relatively war peace to some extent, to some large extent, that has caused the emergence of the Third World War or not before June 13, 2025. Please get that. So basically, these are the things that you definitely need to know about League of Nations and UNO. Who can tell me members of UNO? That is the five states that is under UNO, that they are officially recognized. The 5 states under UNO. One is who? One is what?
Sir, US.
US, okay. Then 2 is what?
I think USSR. Soviet Republic.
Soviet Union?
Yes, sir.
Soviet Union or Russia?
Yes, sir. Russia.
Russia, sir.
Okay. Then
Then
which
we
other
have
state?
UK.
Huh?
UK.
UK.
Yes, thank you. That UK, we are still coming out there. You need to understand something about UK, right?
Yes, sir.
What did I say UK and Britain?
Sir?
UK is
What did I say UK and Britain?
UK is United Kingdom, which is England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
Okay.
While Britain is just England, Scotland, and Wales.
Okay. So, there's no difference between UK and Britain. It's the same. We're talking about United Kingdom or Britain
yes,
is
sir.
what the same. But
Same thing,
you are
sir.
trying to extend it other neighboring countries that are within the territory of UK, which I understand. Okay, do you get it now? So, what is now the 4th country?
Okay, we have France.
Okay, what's the capital of France?
Italy.
Yes.
I don't
Paris.
want to finish it. What's the capital of-
Paris.
Capital of France is Paris.
And we are learning together. The capital of France is what? It's Paris. And France speak what language?
French.
Correct, it's French, right? It's French. Okay,
Yeah.
please get that. But let's not go into. Let's just take it one after the other. Then what's that? The 5th one.
Okay, we have China.
I
said we have China.
Yes, I've written it. So basically, these are the 5 states. I don't think Germany is part. Germany is not part, please. Okay,
No, sir.
Germany is not part. So these are the 5 states that formed what? The UNO, right? Now, in this current, the outburst of the war that started 13th June 2025, one of these states now is supporting Israel. Do you see it now? So let us say that, okay, which other state that can support Iran? Or which other state that can support Iran?
I think Russia.
Russia? Will Russia support Iran? I doubt it.
No, Russia isn't supporting Iran.
No, we are just saying that which other states, these are the 5, like the 5 big brothers, the 5 big brother states that controls the world currently. You get now, and one of it, number 1 out of them now is USA. They are the world power. What do you mean by world power? Economic, military base, and everything. They have it in their possession. Do you get it now? Formerly, Egypt used to be power, right? And at a point, Germany, at a point, Rome, like that. But currently, this current dispensation that we are now, right? The world power currently, do you get it now? Is USA. But these people have started warming up to overtake what? USA. So that is why you see so many hubs of companies are now moving down to China now. Even USA has their company hub in China. Are you getting it? But let's not to ponder on that. I talked something about UK, right? Now I want to ask you a question, though it's a little deep. Now, among these states that is stated here, which of the country that UK colonized? UK colonized what country? Among this country that is listed here.
France.
USA.
Huh? Correct.
USA.
USA.
They gained independence
I
from the
want to give you assignments. based on this USA that I just mentioned, right? If you go and check dollar, if you go and check dollar, USA dollar, I will not say it. You discover the dates, the months that USA got our independent from Britain. I get it now.
Yes,
You
sir.
you get the dates, the months that USA got her independence from Britain. Don't forget that Britain colonized us, right? Now in your government, you have Commonwealth of Nations. That is S country that Britain colonized. They are called what? Commonwealth of Nations. The question now ask yourself, why was USA not listed part of the what? Commonwealth of what? Of Nations. That's another explanation for another day. But what I just want to establish here that please have it at the back of your mind that it is UK that colonized what? US. And that is why you see in terms of their spoken language, they only try to show they don't want to be hearing in history that Britain actually what colonized what USA. And that is why you see the version of what of American English, you see the version of what of British English. Do you get it now? So next week we'll take it upward from here. Thank you very, very much. And please try to do the assignments. I will ask next week what year, date, amount that USA got their independence from Britain. See you next week. God bless.